I'm Miranda.
And I'm April.
And this is A True Crime Co.,
a podcast about everything macabre and mysterious. Okay, well, first off, today we have a very special guest with us. Novelist Sayword Eller has decided to join us on our very special podcast. Yay! Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We are doing a podcast about a very popular thing that is across the world. It's not just local, and many people have seen this entity. It is going to be a podcast about the Hat Man / Shadow Man. All right, so a little bit of a background about this person or entity. The Hat Man is a mysterious and shadowy figure, often described as a tall, shadowy entity wearing a wide-brimmed hat and a long trench coat. Sightings and encounters with the Hat Man have been reported all around the world, with people describing a sense of dread and why can't I say it? Malevolence. There we go. Malevolence. Accompany his presence. Shut up.
I just flashed back to our Halloween episode.
Oh, yeah. So, malevolent. I'm trying to put an N in there. Malevolence. There we go. What makes the Hat Man phenomenon even more intriguing is that these encounters are not isolated incidents. They share strikingly similar details, leading many to believe that there's more to this shadowy figure than meets the eye. Intrigued so far? You can say words.
Mommy,
why are you?
I was muted. I'm sorry. I was trying not to make sound.
Don't be muted. You can make sound. Sound good.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Okay, so to understand the Hat Man, let's explore some first-hand accounts. People who have encountered the Hat Man often report seeing him in their bedrooms. Oh, I didn't know that. Standing at the foot of their beds or lurking in the shadows. Makes sense. Witnesses describe a feeling of paralysis, as if the Hat Man has a grip on their very soul. That's pretty dark. Joining us today, an individual who claims to have had a personal encounter with the Hat Man. Sayword, thank you for being here. And you're not alone, because I was there.
Thank you for having me. And it was 3, but okay.
Is she a novelist? I didn't quite catch that the first
Yes,
time.
I am a novelist of upmarket fiction. Thank you for asking.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, Sarah, can we talk through your experience? What happened to you during your encounter that I can also confirm because I was there?
Well, as you know, our maternal grandparents lived in a farmhouse in a valley in Cedar Bluff, Virginia. It was 2 stories.
Rural.
Yes, very rural. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I occupied the bedroom that was at the top of the stairs to the right. And I think originally maybe it was meant to be like a nursery because it was the smallest bedroom upstairs.
Oh, and it didn't have a door, right? Am I remembering that
It did
right?
not. They took the door off because, you know, Mama was a hoarder. And there was no room for a door.
Uh-huh.
Actually, the door may have been there. It may have just been so covered up.
And I just remember that, that ledge at the top.
Oh, what are those called?
It
was to let air through. It was to let air through in the olden days because the house was built in like, I think 1920. Mm-hmm. So there were books up there. The door was always open because either the door was off or there was just a bunch of stuff in the way. And one night I was sleeping and I woke up because there was like a little tingly, and I looked in the doorway and there was a man standing in the doorway, and he filled the doorway. He was as tall as the door, and I could see his hat.
The hat?
And he was wearing like a duster coat. Like a
trench coat, to people who don't know what a duster is.
Yes. So it was a full coat, and it was the hat. And at first, like the first thing I thought of was like Grandpa, because he wore fedoras, you know, even though this hat was bigger than a fedora, but he was the first person that I thought of. But the dude didn't move. And because of trauma, I had really bad feelings. And so I did what any rational child would do, 8 or 9, I think. I pulled the covers over my head.
Absolutely.
And
where else do you hide when you're a child?
like I couldn't leave the room. He was in the only doorway, and I was too terrified to move. It really was like I was paralyzed. And the only thing that I could do was pull the blanket over my head. And then I saw him a second time, just again, terrified. And then I started begging you to sleep in the room with me because I thought,
remember that.
If there are 2 of us, he's not going to come back.
So I have a question.
Absolutely.
You saw him both times in the same house?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to keep on to that because I have a statement to make later on that applies to that.
Well, I will tell you, in this house, the upstairs was super scary to me when I was a kid. Like the only bathroom that the house had was upstairs.
In the far back right
you had to go all the way down the hall and then turn right and go down the hall. And it was like, I think it used to be a bedroom when the house was built, and they turned it into the bathroom. So
beautiful bathroom though.
It was
Just
great.
saying. For bathrooms, it was pretty nice.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So during the day, whenever I had to go to the bathroom, I would go upstairs and everything was fine as long as I was facing the upstairs. But when I came out of the bathroom and I was going back down the stairs, it was like I had to get out of there. And I fell down the stairs like 2 or 3 times in my childhood because
I just
had to get away from the upstairs. And it was worse at night, as you can imagine.
But there was a nightlight in the hallway though. It was a huge hallway.
Yeah, gigantic hallway.
You wouldn't really know because it would have been cluttered.
Yes. It would have been a great hallway, but
you could put a bed in there.
Listening to you describe the hallway reminds me of the house that I went to when I was little that she lived in. That is not the same house, because also that hallway made me feel like that too. Like every time, run right out of that hallway because it's too scary.
I don't know if it's like the clutter, the stuff there. I mean, I think we got pretty used to it because we grew up with it a lot longer than Miranda did. But
oh my gosh.
Oh, it also didn't help that her husband at the time would scare the crap out of me every time I came out of the bathroom. That did not help.
I just gave it more of a memory for you.
I was going to say, what if it was the bed?
Because
the bed that was in the hallway at the house Miranda's talking about was in the hallway of the big house.
Yeah, it was. It would just, you forget because it was just covered in stuff.
Yeah, because that was the bed that Mama's mom was confined to before she was whisked away to New York.
Y'all used to make me sleep on that bed.
Well, I mean, she didn't die in the bed.
No.
Somebody might have.
You slept. What's the problem?
Yeah, it was fine.
Nothing bothered you?
We have beef now, just so y'all know.
All right. Let's get back on track. Okay, continue with your story. I am now also with you in this room.
So you're sleeping with me in, it was a full-size bed that was in that room.
Yeah.
And so it was all the way in the corner, pushed up against the wall, because that left just enough room to walk beside the bed and at the foot of the bed, because she also had a bureau down there. So we're sleeping and I feel the tickle and I wake up and I realize you're awake too. And you're looking at the doorway too. And I look at the doorway and there he is, just standing there. And if I were an adult, this would be the time I would be like, what the F, dude? Why do you keep doing this to me? You're scaring me. But I was a little kid. So I was like, just
and keep in mind, I'm actually 2 years younger.
Yes.
So.
I think I was maybe 8. So that would have made you like 6.
No, I think I was a little older. So maybe you were 9.
Yeah, maybe I was 9.
Yeah.
A lot happened in the time period between 8 and 10 for me. So, but yeah.
Oh,
So, huh?
I was not alive. Just to
You
clarify.
were not alive. No, not for
No.
7 years.
Yeah, you were not even a thought in your mama's eyes or ears or head or whatever you want to say.
But I was terrified, and we both pulled the covers over our heads at the same time.
Because it was terrifying.
It,
And it was heavy.
yeah.
It's like that.
And it was just like this. It always felt like, I don't know how to explain it. Like when someone dies, and this will go along with your macabre theme.
Yeah.
When someone dies, it's like all of the air is sucked out of the room, and there's this heaviness that's left behind.
Well, their energy's gone.
Right.
Their energy is left. It's left because they're sick, so they have that sick energy, which is already heavy.
But
it's
even
negative.
the people, like even the energy of the people that are in the room, it's very muted.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody puts out kinetic energy, but even that is very muted to me. When somebody dies, it's like the whole room is just, it's like blanketed, like the earth is whenever it snows. It's like it's muffled and muted, and there is this feeling in the air that it's just a very heavy emptiness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, completely.
So that is what I felt every time there would be a tickle. And then as he stood in the doorway, there was just this big emptiness and this heaviness and this feeling of just absolute fear. And I don't know if it's because I was a little kid and there was a dude standing in my doorway.
A shadowy, creepy dude.
I don't know, because like it never moved. It just stood in the doorway. And it's not like, because I used to see things in the dark all the time, but you turn the light on and it's like a coat, or, it's something that you left hanging on the end of your bunk bed or something. But this wasn't that. There was nothing in the light that looked like this in the dark.
And to keep kind of get this in your mind, though, is that on the room faced the hallway, and there was always a nightlight in the hall, so we wouldn't trip over everything and break our necks if we had to go to the bathroom, right? And there was also one window on the opposite side that had a street light below it, so light would come in like through the plants, because there were plants in the window, and curtains. So I mean, it's not absolutely dark in this room. There is some light coming in from these two areas, but the one in the hall is blocked because this shadow person is taking the light. So he is like backlit, like Miranda's picture that she showed you earlier, like this. I mean, it was backlit just like this. There we are, little children.
His shoulders were higher.
Oh yeah.
Gloss.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like that, right?
Yeah.
They weren't. It was more buff men, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure my picture is just a man.
I'm sure it is. But
Like,
I was trying to give you a visual here.
Yeah, it wasn't that kind of. They actually had broad shoulders and filled out the jacket. It wasn't kind of down like that dude's thing. And I don't think it was shoulder pads. I don't think they came with those. Just saying.
A shadow person with shoulder pads.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the late 80s, early 90s.
But the
No, it was
person,
the 80s, definitely late 80s.
oh gosh, that's definitely the 80s. Considering that our grandfather, he died in 91, so it was well before that.
I have a question. Did you ever see the shadow person after your grandfather died?
No, I didn't. Did you?
No.
It was all prior.
Okay.
And I actually thought that maybe I was losing it because, yes, I knew the house had this ominous feeling upstairs, and it felt, really scary up there. But I just felt like I was making it up because I had a very vivid imagination.
Oh,
But
wait.
then our cousin, one night out of the, it's complicated. Our cousin, one night out of the blue, because he didn't know that we had seen it, he told us in order to try and scare us. And he was telling us about this man that he saw, and then he described him in detail. And it was the exact same man who I had seen 3 times at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, okay, wait. The third time, we didn't really go into the third time. How did it happen the third time?
The third time was when you were there. I saw him twice before you.
Oh, so so my memory of this is I watched him come out of the wall in the hallway. So you didn't see that. I guess I was awake first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right outside the room there was these old photos of our great, great
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
No.
The wall that he came out of, was it relatively close to your grandparents' room?
Our grandparents actually slept downstairs.
Yeah, at that point, because Papa was sick.
Yeah, he couldn't come up the stairs, and it was a lot of stairs. It was a lot of stairs getting upstairs. So he was not able to climb the stairs. So they slept downstairs. So we would sleep upstairs with, us two. And it was the pictures were, I guess, right across the hall from the room in which they would have used.
Well,
if they were upstairs. Were they upstairs at that time?
They were upstairs. They
Is
were
that you?
upstairs at that time, because after the night that you and I saw him at the same time, I started trying to sleep with my light on. That's when we lived with them for a short period while Mom went to North Carolina to get set up down there. We lived with them for a period of time, and I tried to sleep with the light on so that the man wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
And you slept in Mama and Papa's room because they had that big room, the big front bedroom. And so you slept in a bed in Virginia's old bed.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia was our aunt who passed away in 1985. So you slept in her bed.
Maybe I was 6 then. I could have been 6 because that occurred when I was about 6.
Yeah, and we moved. I was at the end of my 3rd grade year when we moved to North Carolina. So I think I was 8. Yeah, because I was 10 when I was in 5th grade. So I was 8. So you were 6, because we didn't turn 7 and 9 until that July.
Mm-hmm.
So you slept in the room with my mom and Papa. I slept in the room across the hall. I tried to sleep with the light on. He yelled at me to turn it off because I wasn't the one paying the light bill. And
never heard that before.
Yeah, right. So no, I never saw, like, whenever I saw him, he was standing in the doorway of that bedroom. Okay. And Miranda, the way that the upstairs was laid out is you go up one set of stairs, then you take a left and go up the other set of stairs, and then you're in the hallway. My room was to the right. The front bedroom was to the left, and it was a really big bedroom and had a really big closet. And then
awesome closet.
Right down the hall was the 3rd bedroom, which was also a good size with a nice closet. And then if you took a right, you'd go all the way to the back of the hall.
Oh, and there was a creepy ass closet when you took that right too. Don't forget that creepy.
Oh yeah, that closet was big. It was almost as big as the bedroom that I was sleeping in.
It really was, yeah. And all I had in it was clothes. That's all that was in there, and it was creepy.
It should have been the bathroom, honestly, but we won't talk about that.
I agree. It should have been. But question?
No, I was just I had read about the shadow man and so if you look up shadow man, they're not always the same as the man in the hat. So there's 2 different lore for a shadow man and then a man in a hat.
Well, I mean, we called him the shadow man.
Yeah, right. I'm not discrediting you. I just mean when I was doing the research a while ago.
No, I saw a movie that when I was looking at it last night, I saw a movie where it says the shadow man, which was very similar to the Hat Man. Mm-hmm. But it was like Shadow Man, the movie, see the whole thing. It was weird.
So anyways, what I was going to say is when I was reading about shadow people and the shadow man and the man in the hat a long time ago, I was really obsessed with them because I lived in a haunted house. Anyways.
Don't we all?
Yes.
I had read that the man in the hat actually like feeds on negative energy and like sucks the life force out of bad people. And
Bad Sister Bear.
not to speak ill of the dead, but we all know that your grandfather had some questionable tendencies and life choices. So
Our maternal grandfather.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know about the paternal. He always was a very sweet person.
I theorized that maybe, you guys saw the shadow man after he had been taking that life energy, the negative from your grandfather. And he was either on his way out or in. That's why I asked what wall he came out of.
Well, he came out of the wall that was parallel, I guess, to them, but it was more on the side of the
Bathroom and my bedroom.
and
Right.
the attic. And the attic, because you remember the attic door was right there in that bedroom too, because it was
That wasn't technically the attic because there was an attic space up
the
above.
side storage. Come on,
I can't remember what those are called, but yeah.
I mean,
ask Miranda.
where did your cousin, that's what we're calling him, where did your cousin stay when he was at the house?
He stayed in the far room.
Yeah, his
So
bedroom was
that
one that
third
was
bedroom.
straight down the hall. Yeah.
Near
Like
the bathroom.
it's straight across.
So, no offense, but we
He didn't
also
wear a
know
hat.
that your cousin made questionable life decisions.
Well, the cousin was a younger at that point too. Right? How old is he?
He's 4 years older than me.
So he was old enough to be in that stage where he was making questionable life decisions.
He's 12.
I'm going to say at that point in time, he was a questionable life decision. I do not know. It's just because of things.
You know what? We're not here to air a dirty laundry, okay? We're
No,
here to
that's
talk
what
about the Hat Man.
That's why I was trying to be very vague, first off. But I'm saying maybe he was done with Grandpa and was going on to the next.
He punched me in the stomach, okay?
Not Grandpa.
I will never forgive him for that. I will never forget that he punched me in the stomach, okay? I was a kid.
So
It's nothing like getting punched in the stomach or the throat.
You had my
false. My theory is maybe he was going from one negative energy, looking for the other negative energy, and you guys just happened to see him.
I think that house just had negative energy because there was a lot of things that happened prior to the negative energy that occurred in our residence there. There were some other events that occurred. So there was negative energy there anyways.
And this was the 1980s in Appalachia. And it was still like, there was still a lot of dark stuff happening in families in the 1980s. And there was still a lot of leftover negativity from prior generations. So I'm not bashing Appalachian people. I love y'all. I am y'all. But I am saying that. But I am saying that if you grew up in Appalachia, in certain parts of Appalachia in the 70s and 80s, you know what I'm saying.
Let's say the poorer part, not maybe the most affluent.
Let's stop pretending like the problem stopped because it's 2023 and there's still some questionable things happening.
Okay, we're gonna bring it around.
Right, but I'm not there now, so like.
Okay, what about my experience here?
On it now.
Okay, look, I saw the guy come out of the wall. Okay, when I was awake and you were not, you were snoring right beside me.
I don't snore.
There is some there were some pictures. I guess they were sketched actually. There weren't photos. These were
they're photos.
Are they like lithographs?
Yeah.
It was like an older type of photo.
Yeah, they were made in the 19th century.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So I didn't like those photos when I was a kid because they creeped me out. Number one, did they creep you out? Because they creeped me out.
No, actually.
Well, this could be
like they were looking out for.
Is it?
I was a weird kid.
Is it the same pictures that she had at the other house?
Oh yeah.
Because they creep me out.
And
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know where they are.
Oh, well, I'm sure they're at your house now.
You can keep them because they're creepy.
Well, I mean, now that's fine, but the shadow person hat man came out in one of those photos. It's like he came out of the wall. Gosh, and I don't know why this is so vivid for me, but he came out of the wall, and he was just this dark entity that came out, and he looked in our room. Apparently, I was having some trouble sleeping. I guess it could be some sort of noise that was really close to my ear. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's like me.
Could also been that your big sister freaked you out and you were waiting for the shadow man.
No, she didn't
Well,
tell
I
me.
didn't tell her why I wanted her to sleep with me.
Uh-uh.
She had no idea. I didn't tell anybody because I felt like I was being a stupid little kid. Because a lot of people told me I was a stupid little kid.
Anyways,
That's interesting how you guys reacted to I happenstance that one time. You think you would get a little sympathy from
wait,
people
which
who
one
experienced-
was it? Was it Emily?
No, the little dead boy in your bedroom.
I never said anything. I never called you a stupid little kid.
Y'all made so much fun of me because I
it
like
was-
to play Ghost Whisper, but that time I wasn't playing. It was real.
Anyways, so the guy came out of this wall and these photos or these pictures, and he looked in our room, and I was like, "Holy crap! What the hell? I'm dreaming. I must be asleep." And then he keeps coming out. Right? It's like he comes out straight out, and then he's in front of our door. And I guess that's when you woke up.
Well, was he looking in as he was on his way across the hall?
Yeah.
Or was he standing full on in the door? Because that's how I always saw him. He
No,
was standing full on in the door, just staring at my direction.
No, so his head, okay, picture this. So here's the wall. His head comes out of the wall and turns and looks at us
No,
in that room. And then he just keeps coming out like that, horizontally out of the wall. And it's like he just stood up and he was in front of the door. And then
That is so dramatic.
that's dramatic. Anyways, he was in the door. I must have seen him twice. Because I remember one time he came out of the wall and was in the door frame. And then another time I remember he was actually standing by the bed. And remember, there's not a lot of space. So like here's the bed and here's the dude. He could have been touching the bed. Yeah. Well, he was a shadow dude. He was probably like standing in the bed. I don't know. But so I guess I did see him twice. Okay, so this is concurrent with your experience. So
I mean, I never saw him floating. I just saw him standing. He just stood there. Like
apparently saw him coming in.
You missed the dramatic entrance? What? I wasn't calling you dramatic. I was calling the Hat Man dramatic.
Well, I'm saying it sounded like you were calling me dramatic.
Well, after a while, I convinced myself that he was, because I think that's great grandpa Linkus in that picture. After a while, especially when I had other experiences in that house,
because it was haunted as hell.
Right. Well, this was of the physical variety. I felt like it was great grandpa Linkus and that he was in a way looking over us. That's how I made myself feel better about seeing this shadow dude. Is I made myself believe that it was him and he was trying to protect us from stuff.
All right. Okay. So I guess we should delve deeper into the Hat Man phenomenon. I mean, did you think he was, you did say it was like paralysis and some heaviness, but do you think he was like a demonic presence or?
No,
what?
Because I don't believe in demons, but I also didn't feel like, even though I was petrified, I didn't feel like in my little kitty heart, I didn't feel like he was there to hurt me. But I was terrified because I was a child and there was a dude standing in the
by
doorway.
the bed or doorway. Well, I did
I
see
mean, it
him
was
by the
practically,
bed.
even in the doorway, he was by the bed because the room was so small. So,
It was
I mean, that's what I will tell you, that I was less afraid of him than I ever was an actual flesh man.
oh yeah, humans were way more scary than the hat man.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, women be cray.
True. But specifically,
Men
men
tend to be more violent than
boys
women.
and men.
Now, do you think he was like a manifestation of our sleep, and we just kind of, I don't know how we both were dreaming about the same thing at the same time, but or do you think it was just like a trick of the mind, the light?
Well, I did, until our cousin told us about his experience, and it was out of the blue. And
he didn't tell us about his experience. He used his experience to terrify us.
Yeah, but because he lies, like he's 50 years old and he's still lying like a damn dog. But is it okay for me to say damn?
Yes.
Okay. He's 50 years old and he still lies like a damn dog. But in that moment, when he told us that, even though I knew he was just trying to scare us, but he couldn't scare us because we had already seen it.
Yeah, we were already scared, so it was fine.
In that moment, I realized that it was capable for him to tell the truth at some point in his life. And this was it. This was the moment that he was able to tell the truth.
Okay. So the Hat Man has not only haunted the dreams of individuals, but has also made it way into popular culture. From movies, literature, this figure has become a symbol of fear and mystery. I mean, he's terrifying. What do you think it is about him that captures kind of everybody's fascination and imagination, besides he's creepy as hell?
Because we don't understand, and humans are afraid of what they don't understand.
Do you guys think he's like a being from this realm, or do you think he's like a multi-dimensional being that just kind of floats around to different places, see what's going on, to warn people of maybe oncoming doom?
He's not a banshee.
Nobody's talking about a screaming banshee.
Yeah, that's what banshees do. They talk about upcoming doom. That's a banshee's job, not a shadow person's job.
Well, okay, here's my question is, do you think that he could be like an invisible man, like he's always there, but you don't see him until it's dark?
I think maybe he's a manifestation of trauma and anxiety. That's
But do you
what I
think it's like a archetype or like a collective, like everybody's in their mind is seeing this, so it's actually like a poltergeist and it's brought to reality, so it does visit other people because it is a technical haunting of the world?
I have a really difficult time because I'm so cynical now.
Mm.
Like in my 20s, I totally believed in ghosts and
Now you don't
spirits.
believe in ghosts?
I mean, I didn't believe in demons, and I still don't believe in demons. So I've never considered this as any kind of demonic energy. I think you have negative energies in the world and you have positive energies in the world. So if I have to look at it that way, then I would say you have to have positive and negative, but you also have to have that kind of gray area energy, right? So to me, maybe the shadow guy, the Hat Man, shows up where he's needed. So if there is negative energy or negative presence or evil, we'll say, in a place like that house, then maybe he shows up in that place, and maybe he's there as an observer, but also as maybe a warning for the evil person and something who's supposed to give the person suffering maybe some sort of somebody is here watching you. Do you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
sorry, that song is that song is just playing in my mind right now.
what song?
Somebody's watching you. I always feel like
What I mean is, perhaps he's neither good nor bad. He's kind of like death is supposed to be.
like a grim.
Death is impartial, but death knows the difference, I guess.
Definitely like, I'll take all you bitches. I don't care.
Right. So what if this hat man is to some people the image to let them know that the presence, to let them know that someone is there for them, that someone is looking over them.
Maybe if it didn't bring like a dread or heavy feeling along with it, sure. I would think if somebody was watching out for you, it would be a little bit lighter presence and not terrifying as a shadow. Saying.
But he's not like, his visage is not terrifying. Unless you're a little kid and you don't know what the hell's going on, and you just woke up out of sleep and you're like, oh my God, why is there a man standing in my doorway? But as a presence, he's just a man with a hat and a coat. Just a very
So
is
you're
the word
saying,
innocuous? Is that the word that I'm looking for?
sure, but I mean, you're just saying that the shadow man is just completely misunderstood. Nobody understands his feelings.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe he's just like I said, another parallel universe he's coming through, but the only part that gets through is the silhouette of himself. So he's actually this positive being that is just totally misunderstood. And all the other sightings around the world, like him saying, oh, I'll take that child. You don't need them. You don't like them. I'll take them. Come into this abyss with me.
Wait a second.
You'll be fine.
I don't even know what you're talking about. He didn't talk to me.
Well, there were some stories online as I was looking. I mean, I'm not quoting these stories because I didn't write them down. But I mean, there's been sightings where he's actually interacted with people and spoke to people. One that pops into my mind is this child was going to be bad, of course, and the father was like, "Why are you like this? I can't stand you." I don't know. I don't know what they were saying, but apparently there was a shadow man in a cornfield with a hat and a duster.
You mean a scarecrow?
No, I said a duster.
Some scarecrows wear dusters.
It was on this side of the road, not a scarecrow. Scarecrows don't talk and say, "I'll take the child. Give him here."
The hat man doesn't talk either.
Some apparently.
In the doorway.
No, some people says he talks.
Some people are delusional.
You guys,
sorry, y'all.
No, look, we saw like, I'm assuming it's the same one, like over and over.
Okay, so I'm not trying to take away from people who say that the shadow person has talked to them. I'm sorry that I said they were delusional. I take it back. My apologies. Sometimes my
Your box gets a little high.
My 1980s upbringing and my 1990s upbringing talk for me.
Oh, what that's Gen X, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I've never heard that this hat man talks before. Okay.
I didn't either. And then I read this story and it said that he interacts with some people.
In my experience, it was just standing there. So,
well, he came out of the wall for me. So
dramatically
and looked at you.
Yeah, like it was the creepiest damn thing, and that's why I never really liked those photos. He just came out like straight out, and then whip, I see you. I'm like, holy shit.
But even the moral of your story, where he talks to this little kid's an a-hole. So,
well, wasn't the parent the a-hole for being like, I can't stand you, you're terrible child?
If the parent said I can't stand you, they both should have got a visit from that man.
So, is this like a cautionary tale? Because those are often
I told you I didn't write it down. I didn't write down the source. I'm just quoting by memory, and we all know how great my memory is.
I mean, the fact that this little kid was doing bad stuff and his dad was upset, and then the shadow man comes and talks to him, like that was his dad in a duster and a hat, being like, "Don't be a bad little kid."
Oh no, this is from no, the child and the father was at the car, and this is from his siblings where they saw the shadow man across the street at the cornfield.
Did he shout at them?
I don't know. I mean, he's a mysterious being. I'm sure he could like throw his voice a little over there.
Across the street in a cornfield.
Yeah.
Hey,
They
kids,
didn't-
be good to your dad or I'll come back.
They didn't give me measurements, okay? I thank you, deceased Miranda.
I just feel like this story is very suspect. I'm just gonna say that. I
The
mean,
shadow man moonlights as a scarecrow and yells at little kids
And parents.
and
Was
parents,
talking to the parent.
douchebag parents who are like, "I hate you. You're the most annoying kid in the world."
why are you even
I don't remember that
alive?
story. Don't quote that. I don't remember the story. I was like, he talks?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that story is very suspect. I mean, unless there's like way more, I'm just gonna have to say that that parent was doing like the whole "I'm gonna call Santa" thing, you know?
Picture it didn't happen, guys. That's all she's saying.
No.
I was just surprised by that one. It just said he spoke, and I'm like, dude, don't speak. He don't speak. He stands there and makes you feel kind of scared.
What
He
did
doesn't speak.
say?
I'll take the child. That's what he said. Give me the child.
Goblin King.
I'll take it to the castle in the center of the Goblin City, where the Goblin King lives. That's a
So,
different episode.
in April,
Yes.
what do you think he is?
I don't know. I mean, he could be. He could be, like I said, he could be like in a parallel universe. He's coming through. I don't remember a lot of the time frame when all this crap happened because we were kind of going through some emotional stuff at the time, and it was. I just don't remember a lot about details of the childhood time frame, etc. So, he could be a lot of things. He could be a manifestation. He could be a parallel universe being that's coming through. He could be the invisible man who's always there, and you just don't see him until it's dark. All I know is he's creepy, and it does not make you feel comfortable to be in his presence. That's what I know.
But he never did anything bad to us.
No, he never touched us. He never talked to us. He never said, "I will take your soul to hell." None of that.
Stop.
What am I stopping?
He doesn't talk. He doesn't speak.
I said he didn't. I said he does not say, "I'm going to take your soul to hell, you evil child."
Okay, so here's my theory, which I already kind of shared a little bit, but I never saw the Hat Man. Never in my whole life.
You will now.
I better not, because my theory is that he visits places full of generational trauma, current trauma, negative energy, and he sucks that negative energy and life force from the perpetrators of violence.
Ooh, I have another theory.
I'm not done with my theory. So I think he visits homes that are not great and kind of works as like a protector of the innocent and a punisher of the evil, like a happy, good spirit with a purpose.
What the hell? No.
He's not a happy.
He's not a happy guy. He causes paralysis. He causes pressure on your chest because it's so thick of negative energy.
Yeah. Would you be happy-go-lucky, sunshine and rainbows if you were eating people's negative emotions? No.
I would think I'd be a little bit more excited.
You'd be dark and cloudy and sad.
Was he a soul eater? Is this what we're calling him now?
No. I said he sucks the life force from bad people.
Well, a lot of people say the soul is the life force.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
then
just
I guess
saying.
he is, but he doesn't eat it all at once. Maybe little pieces at a time.
Then why did he come to us?
Do not side eye me because your grandpa and your cousin. I already said that.
She said that it's the generational trauma. And there was a lot of generational trauma in our family.
So, really
Okay.
back then, I believe the Shadow Man is, and he is an energy eater. He feasts on negative energy.
So, okay, consensus. Do you think he's real?
I do.
Absolutely.
When I was a kid, I did.
Well,
You're so cynical.
as Sayword's copy and paste 20-year-old, I do believe it.
Oh my God. Facts. Facts. Right there. I'm not like it's really weird just watching you both here because you can do the same actions at the same time.
If y'all do a
Seriously.
ghost story episode,
Oh, which we shall.
call me.
Honestly.
Because you know I had that
Yeah, just give me a ring.
yeah, just
Ring a ding ding.
Oh my gosh.
if I could make the noise that Jada Pinkett Smith made.
We don't talk about her.
My God, this is gonna be we're so gonna get canceled for
Yeah,
this
I'm
one.
super excited to edit this episode.
But you know what? It was actually a fun conversation.
And that's all the time we have, guys. That's all the time we have.
Okay. Well, anyways, thank you so much, Sayword, for joining us on our lovely podcast.
Thank you for having me and reopening that trauma for me. I appreciate that very much.
Miranda,
You're so welcome.
I wanted to talk about the Hat Man, Shadow Man. That's what my goal was.
We
Not
did.
generational trauma.
Well, you have to talk about generational trauma, just not in this podcast. So, but hey,
Yeah, that you guys can do that podcast all by yourself. I'm not in it.
I can't take on any more podcasts.
What? Three's not enough for you? 3?
thank y'all for having me. If anybody wants to know more about my work, they can go to saywordbeller.com. And I've got all the links to my stories. And there's even 2 short stories that they can read there on the website. So if they're into that kind of thing.
If you like to read hers. Selfish plug. You're welcome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.